Hey friends, good evening. Today is 4th of May 2020, and so I thought it is a good time to make a sequel to our last discussion. Basically, we are trying to make sense of economy in this current COVID-19 situation. I believe that we all must have at least a gut level understanding of economy, and so this is just an attempt. We know that the Western worlds, even the US, was affected by COVID-19 much more than it was in, let's say, India. And we suppose this was because they were reluctant to have a lockdown initially, while in India the lockdown was imposed just in nick of time. And this is all right. What we probably would like to figure it out is why was the initial reluctance. Some of us may like to believe that it was just unawareness, which I would only partially agree. So, what could be the other reason? Now, there was a statement which you must have come across. It was that the cost of cure is worse than the problem itself. I am not sure if you remember this statement, but this probably might be true. Let's take a historic perspective of economy to understand it. The economy basically began from a barter economy where there was no money, only goods and services were exchanged, to money economy where because of trade, expanding trade, there was currencies in the economic system and people would buy with money. And then nowadays we have a credit economy. Now this credit part is the most important because this credit itself is the most volatile part of the economy, and for most economic developed nations this is the biggest part of their economy itself. Now, what is basically the difference between credit economy and a money economy? Now, you must have come across the government asking or encouraging everyone to have a bank account, and then you must have also come across someone from bank coming to you and offering you a credit card or a bank loan. So, this thing is the credit economy. Basically, in a money economy, we only have buyers and sellers. You have money, you buy. But in credit economy, we also have lenders and borrowers. You don't have the money, you can lend it from the bank and you can still buy it. So basically what changed? What changed was that now the money was being used through the bank to put in the credit economy. We have discussed it earlier. Basically, what does the credit economy do? It puts a time value to the money. So if you deposit a money in a bank, you are expecting to get certain interest with time. Now, to have a perspective of how big this credit economy is, let's take an example of US. US has a credit economy of $50 trillion, while the actual money in the economy is just $3 trillion. So I hope this makes sense to you. Now, why is it important and how is it so? Now, let's say somebody gets a job and his income is 20,000 a month, and he opens a salary account in which he gets the money. Now, the bank sees that he has an income of 20,000 rupees a month. They give him a credit card and a limit of 10,000 rupees in his card. Now, his wife is interested in music and she wants to buy a guitar. They go to a shop and the guitar costs 30,000 rupees. In a money economy, he would wait for a month till he has the money and then buy the guitar. But most likely, with a credit economy, he will just use his credit card. So 20,000 he has his salary and 10,000 he gets from credit card and buy the guitar itself without wasting any more time. Now, just for this example, the 30,000 rupees now are in the bank account of the music shopkeeper who sold the guitar. So the bank sees that he has 30,000 rupees in his account today, so they gave him a credit limit of 15,000. Now he wants a scooter for his wife, but today he has only earned 30,000 rupees, and the scooter, let's say, cost 45,000. So in a credit economy, he does not have to wait. He uses his credit card and buys the scooter for 45,000 rupees. Now the scooter shopkeeper has 45,000 rupees in his account. The bank sees that he has 45,000 rupees, so gave him a credit limit, or he has a credit limit of 20,000 rupees. Now he wants a TV for his wife. Now the cost of TV turns out to be 65,000, but he has just 45,000 in this situation. But again, he uses his credit card which has 20,000, and so he is able to buy the TV. So what has happened basically? Everyone is able to spend more than he is earning. So we have happiness coming in before time, which in a money economy would have taken some more time, a month, another day, but now in the instant everyone is happy. So now I hope you understand that why the governments and the banks are so keen for everyone to have a bank account and have a credit card or take a loan, because then we are trying to build up a credit economy. Now there is nothing good or bad with this economy. It is like whenever you spend, what you spend is somebody else's income. So by credit you get more money to spend, and so more income is being generated. And so when it just is happening in the whole country, the income is rising in all. So everybody's income is rising, the standard of living is rising. But then the thing is, when the standard of living is rising, the cost of living also goes up. So I hope this was interesting. But let's say in place of buying guitar, scooter, TV, if let's say a vending machine, uh, someone started a business of, let's say, a Xerox machine, or a tractor would have been bought, then these machines would have also generated money, created efficiency in generating money, and they have added to the economy. So that would have created a value for that money. But when we buy things of leisure like TV, guitar, these things are not actually generating money. In fact, if you buy a scooter and for some reason you have to sell it the next day, you won't get the value of money either. So it is generating a society which is buying not only for their needs but also for their leisure and even for vanity. So that is the kind of society it is generating. And now after this type of society is builds up and there is a high standard of living and everyone is happy about it, the bank happens to lend that money to Nirav Modi. So when the money goes in hand of people who do not intend to return the money, or the business fails, then that is a setback, a big setback to this credit economy. But in the current case of COVID-19, when a lot of people have credit, have taken loans, and because there are not many jobs there available, and the salaries are being hacked, slashed, and hence they are not able to pay their EMIs or the interest which they are expected to pay. And then the standards of living are high, and so the cost of living is high. They have to maintain this too. Then it is a real onset of a real economic crisis. Now, could it be that when a huge economy is so much just based on credit, for which everyone has to work and the business are supposed to be running, could there be a reluctance in locking down economy? I will leave it up to you. I hope our discussion was interesting, maybe a bit informative, and I hope now we understand this economy of credit better. It's a big topic, you can work on it yourself. Feel free to comment. You agree with it, you do not agree with it, or you can add anything constructive to it. Stay safe and be cheerful. We'll see you around.